Have you ever looked into a mirror and felt like something was looking back? Not your reflection, not your makeup, something else. Like the surface knew too much. Like it saw something you were trying to forget. Some mirrors flatter, some distort, and some confront you with the version of yourself that you fear the most. Tonight, we're not just talking about haunted glass. We're talking about the kind of reflection that changes you. Welcome back to Glow in the Dark, where beauty meets the bizarre. And tonight, the mirror might smile back. This is our first full paranormal episode, and I'm doing it my way. No shaky cameras, no jump scares, just deeply haunted truths, psychic tension, and legends wrapped in polished obsidian. Think of it like stepping into a dark museum room. Each mirror is its own exhibit, some historical, some tragic, and some still active. If you're new here, I'm Destiny, your haunted host with a tattoo machine in one hand and a cursed compact mirror in the other. Whether you're here for spirits or shadow work, pour something strong, light a candle, and stay close. Tonight's reflections aren't just visual, they're visceral. Okay, so before we dive deep into this, I have quite an obsession with mirrors. Especially the ones that look old, vintage, or maybe even a little haunted. If you've ever seen any of my posts, you might see my mirrors in them. One of them, I don't know the actual name, but I call it the triple oval mirror. It's beautiful, it's antique, it has this beautiful filigree, and just absolutely stunning. It's hanging in my hallway, and across from it, there's actually Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein. So whenever you're looking in the mirror, like standing in front of it, Frankenstein is in the first one, you're in the middle one, and the bride is in the next one. It's actually really fun. And then I have one in my dining room that's a little over 7 foot. It's beautiful and ornate. It's just absolutely stunning. And then I have 2 more that are about 6 foot, along with some other whimsical looking ones. So, yeah. And let's not even talk about the oddity wall. Okay, maybe we will. I have a little oddity wall in my house. It's actually right next to my bed. There's vintage frames, there's vintage mirrors. I mean, I'm kind of obsessed. There's this one mirror that I actually still might buy, and it's solid black. We'll get into it later, but I keep going back and forth about buying it. I think I will, but who knows? Mirrors have always been more than just objects. They've been tools, portals, and even warnings. To the ancient Maya, mirrors weren't vanity objects. They were sacred instruments, carved from polished volcanic obsidian, so dark, so deep, they look like frozen night. Shamans use these black mirrors not to look at themselves, but to see beyond. They believed obsidian was born of earth and fire, a substance alive with spirit. When shaped into a mirror, it became a portal, a way to speak to their ancestors, a way to glimpse messages from the gods, a way to walk between worlds without ever leaving the room. These mirrors were used in rituals to find the unseen, lost spirits, hidden illnesses, and buried truths. They weren't made to show you your face. They were made to show you what was waiting behind it. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? In Disney, it's a vanity thing. But in the older versions, in the Grimm's version, and yes, I'm talking about the Grimm's fairy tales, I love those books. Anyways, the mirror didn't flatter. It confronted. It told the queen, "You, my queen, are fair. It is true. But Snow White, beyond the mountains, with the 7 dwarfs, is still 1,000 times fairer than you." And the queen? She didn't spiral into insecurity. She plotted a murder. The mirror wasn't a friend. It was a judge, a magical truth speaker mounted on the wall. Not a beauty aid, but a moral compass. Some folklorists believe the mirror was enchanted by a spirit, either bound in the glass or gifted by the devil. Others think the queen's mirror was a psychological anchor, a reflection of her darker self. In either case, the mirror didn't lie, and that's what made it dangerous. We love mirrors when they make us look pretty, but the moment they start telling the truth, we reach for poison apples. If you're anything like me, you've probably seen a million horror movies, TV shows, anything of that nature, because spooky season year-round, right? At least in this house it is. But have you ever wondered, why doesn't a vampire have a reflection in a mirror? I mean, it's always the dead giveaway in the show, right? It's clear as day. Someone walks by, oh my god, they don't have a reflection, they're a vampire. But why? They never tell us why. So maybe I'm just the overthinker here, but I always wanted to know why. And I went trolling for you. Here's why. So, why don't vampires have reflections? It's not because they're shadows, not because they're incorporeal. It's because of silver. Old mirrors were backed with real silver, a metal long revered for its purity and spiritual power. In folklore across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, silver was believed to ward off evil. It's why silver bullets kill werewolves, why silver crosses burn the unholy, and why silver coins were buried with the dead, to keep their spirit from wandering. So, when something unholy stood before a silver mirror, it simply didn't register. Not because it wasn't there, but because the mirror rejected it. Some old legends go even further. A vampire looking into a silver mirror could go mad from the absence of its soul. The lack of the reflection was a curse, a reminder that they were damned. It's like the spiritual version of a bouncer saying, "Sorry, you're not on the list." If your reflection doesn't show up, you've got something to hide. We've all whispered it, in a bathroom, with the lights off, heart racing. Bloody Mary. Say her name 3 times. Look in the mirror and wait. Some say she screams. Some say she smiles. Some say she reaches through. Others say it's not her you're seeing at all. Some versions say Bloody Mary is Queen Mary. She got the name Bloody Mary for burning Protestants during her reign. Others say she's Elizabeth Bathory, the Blood Countess, who bathed in the blood of virgins. Some even trace her to a Mary Worth, a supposed witch who was executed by a mob. But, despite all the theories, no one really knows who she is. And maybe that's the point. Maybe she isn't one person. Maybe she's everyone. The feminine shadow we've buried across centuries. Now, I remember this like it was yesterday. Like core memory unlocked. So, I remember going to these sleepovers, and we would try our hardest to stay up all night. Why? I don't know. It was like some weird accomplishment if you could stay up till dawn. I don't know why, because right now I would kill for a nap. I would just kill for it. But I remember the whole ritual thing that we would do during the night was light as a feather, stiff as a board. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. And then going in the bathroom with a candle, turning off all the lights, and saying, "Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary." And then somebody would blow out that candle, and then we'd squeal because we thought we saw something, thought we heard something, and take off out of that bathroom. But we weren't quitters. Every time there was a sleepover, we did it again and again. I even tried it on my own because I was determined to see something or hear something, I stared in that mirror forever. Oh, yeah. I guess it makes sense now because I'm drawn to the weird, the strange, the unusual. And now look at me hosting a podcast. It kind of all falls into place. But yeah, how many of y'all have done that? Y'all know what I'm talking about? That core memory unlocked? These weird, crazy sleepovers with all the rituals going on? I don't even remember how we heard about it, but it was like a must do at a sleepover. You stay up all night till dawn. You do the light as a feather, stiff as a board, and see if you can lift somebody up. And of course, Bloody Mary. Now, here's where things get weird and scientific. There's a neurological phenomenon called the Troxler effect. Here's how it works. If you stare at one point long enough, especially in a dim light, your brain starts editing out details around that point. Faces warp, eyes vanish, mouth stretch. You might even start to see your own face morph into a stranger's, or a second face appear behind your shoulder. Or your entire reflection begins to smile without you. That's not a ghost. That's your brain glitching under pressure. Or, depending on who you ask, it's your subconscious self surfacing through the cracks. Maybe Bloody Mary isn't summoned. Maybe she's just waiting for us to look long enough to recognize her. Because sometimes the scariest thing in the mirror isn't a ghost. It's you. Have y'all ever heard of the Troxler effect before? I hadn't until I started researching for this episode. But I'm the weirdo that actually did it. I did the whole sitting in front of the mirror thing and stared at myself. So I was in a really bad place, and I have this vintage light in my room that's dim. I had that on, and I just sat in front of one of my full-length mirrors, and I just stared. And I just stared at myself, just full eye contact, for like a solid 25 minutes. And I am not joking when I say by the end of that, it did not feel or seem like I was looking at myself. I 1000% did not recognize me. It was the eeriest thing that I've actually done, like to myself, unknowingly, because I didn't know there was a name for it. I didn't know there was like a method or anything that goes with it. Not a clue, but I was like, okay, I must be going crazy. Yeah? Going crazy. But then I found out there's a name for it. Look at that. Have y'all ever experienced anything like that? Because I'm telling you, it is not for the weak. When you do not recognize yourself in the mirror, that is just a whole nother ball game. And I like the creepy stuff, so that says something. What happens when your reflection isn't you? It's not always a ghost. Sometimes it's a psychological rupture. Mirror self misidentification is rare, but a real condition, usually seen in people with schizophrenia, dissociative disorders, or trauma. You see your face, and then your brain whispers, "That's not me." In 2010, psychologist Giovanni Caputo tested this. He had 50 participants sit alone in a dimly lit room, staring into a mirror for 10 minutes. No blood, no chanting, just eye contact. The result? 90% saw facial distortions, 75% saw monstrous features, 22% felt a presence watching them from inside the mirror. And one participant, I'm not kidding, began sobbing because she believed her dead twin was looking back. This wasn't a séance, it was science. So the next time your reflection gives you the creeps, it might not be haunted. It might just be accurate. Some people don't just feel weird around mirrors. They're clinically terrified of them. The condition is called spectrophobia, fear of mirrors, reflections, or the idea that something is inside the glass waiting for you. In extreme cases, people will cover or remove all mirrors from their home, not because of how they look, but because they feel watched. So yeah, maybe Aunt Sheila wasn't being dramatic when she covered every mirror with lace after Grandpa died. Maybe she was just a little ahead of her time. But not all mirror encounters are horror. Some are healing. Mirror exposure therapy is used to treat body dysmorphia, gender dysphoria, PTSD, and eating disorders. It teaches you to look and stay, to tolerate your reflection, even if it doesn't match what you expect, even if it hurts. Some therapists use affirmation scripts. Others guide patients to simply witness the discomfort until the fear becomes familiarity. Maybe the scariest thing isn't what the mirror reveals. Maybe it's what we refuse to see, until now. Some mirrors don't just reflect light, they hold shadows. These are the haunted ones, the mirrors left uncovered during grief, cracked during rage, or used in moments that blurred the veil between the living and whatever came next. Let's open a few case files. One of the most famously haunted homes in America is the Myrtles Plantation, a stunningly old Creole estate in Louisiana, wrapped in Spanish moss and legend. The ghost said to linger in the mirror? Her name was Chloe. She was an enslaved woman owned by the Woodruff family in the 1800s, and depending on the version of the story, Chloe was either a mistress to the master of the house, a woman punished for eavesdropping, or someone forced into silence who fought back with poison. The tale says that after having her ear cut off as punishment, Chloe sought revenge, or leverage, by baking a birthday cake laced with oleander, a toxic flowering plant. The cake was meant to make the children sick, but instead, it killed them, along with their mother Sarah Woodruff. Chloe was hanged by other enslaved people, possibly out of fear for collective punishment. And the mirror in the house, the one said to hold her spirit, was left uncovered during mourning. According to tradition, every mirror in a home should be veiled after death so the soul doesn't get trapped inside. But this one wasn't. And to this day, guests at the Myrtles Plantation report seeing handprints on the inside of the glass, children's faces flickering beside their own, and a woman in a green turban, just staring. It's said that the mirror holds their spirits, a glass prison for the ones who never got to leave. Right in the heart of downtown Austin is the opulent, blood-red lobby of the Driscoll Hotel. It's one of those places where time feels sticky, like it's been polished too many times without ever really being clean. And inside, room 525, a bridal suite, once full of promise, until it wasn't. Two women, decades apart, are said to have taken their lives there, both on their honeymoons. Same room, same fate. One shot herself in the bathtub, the other overdosed. Both left behind no clear reason, only the echo of grief. Guests now report feeling watched in the bathroom mirror, and seeing movement behind them, only to find no one there, and hearing footsteps when the door is locked. Security footage once showed a woman walking the hallway towards room 525, but the hallway cameras never caught her coming in or out. Some mirrors don't lie. They just outlive the truth. Now this one is my personal favorite. A mirror allegedly once owned by the man who embodied horror itself. Bela Lugosi, the actor who became Dracula in the 1931 classic. And the mirror? You know what? It's almost too perfect. The man who became Dracula in the eyes of the world, owning a mirror that is now considered one of the most paranormally active objects in the US? That's not just spooky, that's pure Gothic cinema brought to life. According to lore, the mirror was once housed in a room where a violent murder took place. Some say Lugosi himself used it during occult rituals. Others say it absorbed the trauma and something else. It now sits in Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, sealed in protective glass. Visitors have reported seeing themselves dead, sudden waves of nausea, and black shadows hovering in the reflection, and a deep sense that something is staring back. Now imagine paying $50 to get cursed and throwing up in the hallway. That's tourism, baby. And no, Zach won't even touch it. It looks like I'm going to have to plan a trip to Vegas to see Zach Bagans' museum. I've always wanted to go, but, life, work, I'm a mom. Things happen. You can't always just jump and go to Vegas. Well, at least I can't. But I've always wanted to go because I've always heard stories about visitors saying this happened, that happened. Don't go there because you're going to feel like this, or you could experience that. No, baby, I want to experience that. Let me see if it's real because, yeah, you're saying this, but did it really happen, or are you over exaggerating for a good story? I need to know. I just need to know for me, and then I'll let you guys know. Because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to be like, hey, this went down. Or, this wasn't it. I don't know. Have any of you ever been there? I'm just curious. How legit it really is. Built in 1886, the Crescent Hotel has been called the most haunted hotel in America. Room 218 is the infamous one. But it's not just the room itself that whispers. It's the mirrors. Guests report faces that aren't theirs appearing behind them. Mirrors winking, even when no one moves. And sudden time slips, where the reflection lags or acts independently. In one documented paranormal investigation, a thermal camera captured cold spots moving through the glass, despite no drop in room temperature. Some even report hearing their name called from inside the glass. Now, I don't know about you, but if my mirror ever winked at me, I'd probably say something like, "Ugh, not tonight, darling," and toss a black veil over it like it asked me too many questions. But then again, that's probably why I live alone with my kids and my 2 cats. And a whole little, oddity wall in my room, because I'm the real weirdo here. And it's not just North America. In Japan, some believe that spirits, known as kami, can be attached to objects like mirrors, kangami. Mirrors in Shinto shrines are revered as vessels of divine presence. A cursed mirror, therefore, isn't just haunted. It may be housing a god or a ghost. In Haitian voodoo, mirrors are sometimes used during possession rituals. It's said that the mirror acts as a veil, a portal between this world and the awa. Now, I probably said that word wrong, but it translates to powerful spirit. If you want an example of that, think about Papa Legba. And if you don't know him, look it up. It's really interesting. During trance ceremonies, a mirror may be placed on the altar so the spirits can look back at the living, and the living can know who's arrived. And across Eastern Europe and Latin America, the breaking of a mirror doesn't just bring bad luck. It's believed to fracture the soul. Some traditions say you must bury the broken pieces at a crossroads, or burn them with herbs to release the trapped essence. I don't know about y'all, but whenever I first read that about burying it at a crossroads, I was like, Sam and Dean Winchester? Yeah? Supernatural? They are summoning a crossroads demon. We better get the Winchesters in here. This is about to get wild. I don't know. I just think of weird references whenever I'm doing this sometimes. A mirror isn't always what it seems. Sometimes it's a memory trap. Sometimes a warning. And sometimes a doorway left open just a little too long. The most famous scrying mirror user? Dr. John Dee, court astrologer, mathematician, and advisor to Queen Elizabeth I. He believed in angelic communication. He called it the Enochian language, a divine script channeled through glass. Dee worked with a medium named Edward Kelly, who would go into a trance while gazing into a volcanic obsidian mirror, believed to be of Aztec origin, likely looted during the conquest. Together, they recorded over 4,000 entries of visions, spirit conversations, and warnings from beyond. The mirror is still in the British Museum. Some say it emits a strange chill. Others claim their reflections lag behind. But all I'm saying is, if you speak to angels in a stolen mirror, who's really answering you? Or what herbs are you using? Because 4,000 entries? Okay, doctor. Now, let's talk about black scrying mirrors. The beautiful, dangerous things not used to check your eyeliner, but to look beyond. These aren't ordinary mirrors. They're obsidian, black glass, or crystal polished surfaces with no silver backing. That means no purity protection, no sacred barrier, just a dark void waiting to be filled. In the 1800s, black mirrors became fixtures in spiritualist parlors. Victorians believed in contact with the dead, but they wanted it classy. Séance rooms would feature a scrying mirror framed in velvet, low candlelight, and a medium guiding participants into mirror trance. The idea was to relax the eyes and the veil between worlds. Some mirrors were believed to catch images of spirits, ethereal glimpses that vanished when you looked directly. Others became family heirlooms, only to be buried, shattered, or locked away when someone said they'd seen too much. And today, black mirrors are still used, not just in magic, but in psychology and therapy. It's called shadow work, the process of confronting the hidden, rejected, or wounded parts of the self. A black mirror is used to induce altered states, focus intention, and uncover fears and blockades, and even process trauma through symbolic confrontation. It's meditation meets mirror, but not everyone's ready. Some say it's a doorway. Others say it's a psychological scalpel. But both might be right. Black mirrors are powerful, and like all magical tools, they come with warnings. Reported risks include unintentional spirit contact, hearing whispers hours or days after use, feeling like someone is watching from the other side, dreams that aren't yours, or, in rare cases, mimicry. You blink, your reflection doesn't. Practitioners warn against using these mirrors while intoxicated or distressed, leaving them uncovered while not in use, or gazing too long without cleansing afterward. In some circles, it's said that if you use a mirror with ill intent, you won't just see the darkness, you'll invite it in. So I almost bought one of those mirrors, the beautiful black scrying mirrors. It was deep, deep, deep black obsidian with a vintage gold ornate filigree frame, just absolutely stunning. It was like I was drawn to it. So what did I do? I added it to my Etsy cart. Do not judge. It's still living in there. Still in my Etsy cart. Because I just can't remove it. Something at the time told me, don't buy it yet. So I didn't. And it's been in there just hanging out, doing its thing. I go look at it every now and then just to see if it's still available. And it is. So who knows? Maybe after this episode I'll buy it. But I'm curious. Do any of you have any experience with these black mirrors? Or do you have one yourself? I don't know. They fascinate me to the fullest. I want one. I need one. I want more info. I want like real info. So if you have any info for me, send it to me. This isn't a glam ritual. It's a grounding one. Because the mirror doesn't get to haunt you. You get to haunt back. Find a quiet room, dim the lights, set the stage. Just you and the mirror. Sit in front of a real mirror. No filters, no distractions. Light a candle. White for clarity, black for strength. Let your eyes adjust. Watch, wait, breathe. Say your name 3 times. I see you. I accept you. I return to you. Then, touch your cheeks, your lips, your heart, and say, this reflection is mine. Not your trauma, not your past, not the voice that tells you you're too much or not enough. You. You are not the flicker in the mirror. You're the fire beneath it. Next time you check your reflection, don't just fix your hair. Watch, because your reflection might be watching you too. If you've ever had any weird experiences with mirrors or have any crazy stories about them, or if you've ever covered them after a nightmare, message me. Let's talk about what it looked like. Let's talk about what it felt like. Because not every reflection flatters. Some warn. And here at Glow in the Dark, that's exactly where we like to look. Stay radiant. even in the dark.